so hyperbolically violent. You need therapy.
When did the first idea for this Fisher's Commando come to you? Because it was when you were doing the Suicide Squad, or after that?
It was after that. I don't remember when it was. It was definitely after Peacemaker, but somebody at some point from DC said, I don't know who it was. It was like, you want to do something with animation? Oh, it was Peter Girardi over at Warner Brothers Animation. And I met with Peter, and we talked about some things that we could do with the animation. So I started thinking about it. And then I've always liked the Creature Commandos. I like the idea of I love monsters. I grew up loving the Universal horror monsters. I love scary movies when I was a kid. And so I really wanted to do something that was different from other adult animation out there. And that's when it came together.
When you were doing right now, the new universe, DC, you said everything, we're closing, we're not coming back to anymore. And then I'm watching Creature Commando, and it's continuation of the stories that you already told. So you're not shutting this door like for 100%. You leave a little bit open.
Yeah, well, it's a soft reboot. I mean, nothing is canon until it's mentioned in one of the DCU shows. So if you watch Creature Commandos and we mention that Rick Flag's son died in Corto Maltese, which we do, then that's what happened. Not because it happened in Suicide Squad, but because it happened in this series. So people have some context for the rough memories that are Suicide Squad, and Peacemaker is basically DCU with the exception of the Justice League appearance at the end. But other than that, it's basically all, accurate. So yeah, we listen, the Creature Commandos was written before I took over DC. So we were just sort of, already, everything was restarting. Superman was already being written by that point. Creature Commandos was written, so we knew kind of what was happening at that point.
No, don't get me wrong, because I'm really happy, because I like what you do with Suicide Squad, and I like some of the characters that you introduced there and in the Peacemaker. Yeah. So we can see them again, expanding it. For me, it's something great. Also, choosing the characters for Creature Commando. How did you come up? Whose will be there? Who's not?
Well, I love Frankenstein, and I love the Bride of Frankenstein. I love them from the old horror movies. I love them from the original text by Mary Shelley. So I really, and those characters are cool in the Marvel comics. So I wanted to play with those characters a little bit. That was a lot of it. And then it was sort of picking up on other characters. I think Jeff Lemire created Nina Mazursky. I thought she was a cool character. I liked Weasel, I have always had a fondness for. I always had an idea for what Weasel's backstory was, and sort of the Innocence Project that's trying to clear his name. So there were a lot of those different characters, that I just liked from either Marvel Comics or from something else. Dr. Phosphorus has been a cool villain of Batman's that I thought had some ability to do something different than he'd done before. So I like taking these characters from different pieces of pop culture, but also different parts of the DC Comics universe and putting them together.
But also you redeem them. Every person over there has this arc story that you could see. He's not a villain like 100%. They are not jokers. They are not penguins.
Yeah.
They were good people until something happened to them.
You think? I think a couple of them are not so good. I think I don't want to give it away to the audience, but at least one of them is pretty damn bad. And another one is iffy, and then a couple are really, a couple have been totally screwed over by society because they're different. And I think that's a common thing for people who are different. They aren't understood. And because they aren't understood, they can be ostracized and victimized. And that's what happens to these characters, many of these characters.
Is it hard to make an animation for adult viewer, not to make it too grotesque?
I mean, we certainly tried it a few times with Harley and Kite Man and all of that, and I think it's just you try to be honest to the moment. So if it's a dramatic moment and something violent happens, then you may want to emphasize the violence because you maybe need the brutality of it, or sometimes you want to back off it a little bit and let the emotions come through. So it's really about the moment more than it is about a larger thing, I think.
I didn't even think about it. I just kind of wrote the story I wanted to write, and I didn't even think about the violence or the sex or any of it. I just kind of wrote it. There was one thing that was a little bit too much sexually that I pulled back on. But other than that, I think these guys just kind of took.
What was it? Come on, spill it. What was it?
There's a sex, there's a sex scene, with the bride that was too. It wasn't because it was too explicit, and I don't care about the explicitness. I don't care about the sexiness. I don't care about anything. But I think that there's a sex scene with the bride that I think is, maybe not the best thing in the world. So it was making it too sexy to me was not really the right path forward, if that makes sense.
And James, also I want to ask you, because right now DC is on a very good path. We had a great Penguin. The whole series is something beautiful. Superman and Lois, the last season, is also very good. The Creatures Commando is great. So how do you feel that is there a pressure on your back that the next one has to be as good as those, because it's really going good for you guys?
No, I don't feel any pressure. I mean, yes, on days I feel pressure, but in general, I'm just excited to play in the sandbox. And also, frankly, I know what the next things are, so I'm excited. I know that the scripts to Lanterns are fantastic. I know what we have in Superman, and I'm loving working on it every single day. I'm finishing shooting Peacemaker next week, and I love it. I think people are going to freak out on how much John Cena has improved as a performer and as an actor. It's going to be amazing. So I'm seeing this amazing stuff happen day to day, and I just feel incredibly excited about sharing it with the world. So that's a much different situation. Now, a year ago, did I feel exactly the same when nothing was, quite there yet, when we were just starting to shoot Superman and we hadn't even started on Peacemaker, and I was still finishing writing Peacemaker, and Creature Commandos hadn't been animated yet, and the Lantern scripts weren't written yet? Did I feel scared then? Yeah, I did. But today I feel just excited to share this wonderful universe and all the new DC projects and Elseworlds and everywhere else, with Batman 2 and all of that with the world.
All right, thank you very much. Unfortunately, our time is over. I know only one thing, that you changed the song for the second season of Peacemaker. And
I did.
I really, really want to know what it is.
Yeah, well, I got to hold off on that one. You'll see it soon enough. We just recorded a dance sequence the past 2 days. It was so fun. So fun.